We flip a switch and our homes come alive with light. It's a simple action that we often take for granted. We barely think about the complex systems that make this possible. The intricate web of power lines, transformers, and substations work tirelessly behind the scenes. But lately there's one thing we can't ignore: the rising cost of electricity. It's a reality that's hitting us hard. It's not just a minor inconvenience. It's a major concern affecting households and businesses across the nation, causing stress and financial strain. For decades, we've enjoyed relatively stable electricity prices. We could count on our energy costs being predictable. But those days are gone. The landscape has changed dramatically. Today, we're facing a new reality of soaring energy bills. The numbers on our meters are climbing higher than ever before. This surge is fueled by a confluence of factors, each adding its own pressure to the system. It's a perfect storm of economic challenges. From inflation to supply chain disruptions, every element plays a role in driving up costs. Understanding these factors is crucial to navigating this challenging landscape. We need to be informed to make smart decisions. We need to explore the driving forces behind these rising costs. From inflation and supply chain disruptions to the urgent need for clean energy, the transition to renewable sources is also impacting prices. The reasons are complex and interconnected. It's a web of factors that we must untangle. By understanding these forces, we can better prepare for the future and find ways to mitigate the impact on our lives. Knowledge is power. Let's embark on a journey to illuminate the forces at play. Together, we can uncover the truth and empower ourselves with the knowledge to navigate this new era of energy. With the right information, we can take control of our energy future. To understand why today's electricity prices seem so shocking, we need to rewind the clock. For much of the 20th century, electricity was relatively cheap and abundant. The discovery of fossil fuels, particularly coal and natural gas, fueled an era of unprecedented economic growth. Power plants sprouted across the nation, churning out electricity at increasingly lower costs. This abundance powered our homes, factories, and cities, shaping the modern world we know today. But this era of cheap energy came at a cost. Our reliance on fossil fuels has led to environmental degradation and climate change, the consequences of which are becoming increasingly apparent. The transition to cleaner energy sources is essential, but comes with its own set of challenges. The shift away from fossil fuels requires massive investments in renewable energy infrastructure, from solar farms and wind turbines to energy storage solutions. This transition, while necessary, puts upward pressure on electricity prices in the short term. We're at a crossroads, balancing the need for affordable energy with the urgency of addressing climate change. Today we face a perfect storm of factors driving up electricity prices. It's not just one villain, but a confluence of interconnected challenges. Inflation, the silent thief, erodes the purchasing power of our hard-earned dollars, making everything more expensive, including the cost of producing and delivering electricity. Fuel costs, heavily influenced by global events and geopolitical tensions, add another layer of complexity. The war in Ukraine, for example, has sent shockwaves through global energy markets, impacting the price of natural gas, a key fuel for electricity generation. Aging infrastructure, often neglected and overdue for upgrades, further strains the system. Power lines, transformers, and power plants require constant maintenance and modernization to ensure reliability and efficiency. And then there are the environmental regulations. While crucial for protecting our planet, these regulations often increase the cost of doing business for energy providers, costs that are ultimately passed on to consumers. Each of these factors, intertwined and mutually reinforcing, contributes to the perfect storm we face today. Section 4. Inflation's bite. Everything costs more, even electricity. Inflation, the economic buzzword of our time, is a major culprit behind rising electricity prices. It's not just a term economists throw around, it has real-world impacts on our daily lives. Simply put, inflation erodes the purchasing power of our money, making everything more expensive. This means that the same amount of money buys fewer goods and services than it did before. Think of it like this: $1 today buys less than it did a year ago. This is a simple yet powerful illustration of how inflation affects our economy. This principle applies to everything, including the materials, labor, and transportation needed to produce and deliver electricity. The entire supply chain feels the pinch. When the cost of steel, copper, and concrete rises, so does the cost of building new power plants and transmission lines. These materials are essential for the infrastructure that powers our homes and businesses. When wages increase, driven by a competitive labor market, the cost of operating and maintaining those facilities also rises. Skilled labor is crucial for the energy sector, and higher wages reflect the demand for these workers. Even the trucks and trains used to transport fuel to power plants are affected by rising fuel prices, further contributing to the upward pressure on electricity costs. Transportation is a key component in the energy supply chain. Inflation is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences, and the energy sector is not immune to its effects. Every link in the chain, from raw materials to final delivery, is impacted. As long as inflation persists, we can expect it to play a significant role in shaping the cost of electricity. Understanding this connection helps us grasp why our energy bills keep climbing. Section 5. Mother Nature's Fury, Climate Change, and Your Wallet. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's a present reality with tangible consequences, including its impact on our energy systems and, ultimately, our wallets. Extreme weather events fueled by a warming planet are becoming more frequent and intense. Heat waves, droughts, hurricanes, and wildfires disrupt energy production and distribution networks. Remember the Texas deep freeze of 2021? Millions were left without power, and the economic fallout was staggering. These events highlight the vulnerability of our energy infrastructure to climate change. As temperatures rise, so does the demand for electricity to power air conditioners, further straining the grid. Simultaneously, droughts reduce hydroelectric power generation, while wildfires threaten transmission lines. Adapting to these challenges requires significant investments in grid resilience, renewable energy sources, and energy storage solutions. These investments, while necessary, come at a cost, which is often reflected in our electricity bills. The cost of inaction, however, is far greater. Section 6, the Green Premium, Clean Energy's Growing Pains. The transition from fossil fuels to cleaner, more sustainable energy sources is not only essential, but inevitable. This shift is driven by the urgent need to combat climate change and reduce our carbon footprint. However, this transition comes with its own set of costs, often referred to as the Green Premium. This premium represents the additional expense associated with adopting cleaner energy technologies compared to traditional fossil fuels. In the short term, building a cleaner energy future requires significant upfront investments. These investments are necessary to develop the infrastructure needed for renewable energy sources. Solar farms, wind turbines, geothermal plants, and other renewable energy projects are essential components of this new energy landscape, and energy storage solutions are not cheap to build. These facilities require advanced technology and skilled labor, which contribute to the overall cost. While the long-term benefits of renewable energy are undeniable, from reduced emissions to energy independence, the journey to get there is fraught with financial challenges. The initial costs can be substantial, often deterring immediate large-scale adoption. These costs include not only the construction of new facilities, but also the decommissioning of old, polluting power plants. This is not to say that renewable energy is inherently more expensive. Over time, the costs associated with renewable energy can be offset by savings in fuel and maintenance. In fact, the cost of solar and wind power has plummeted in recent years, making them increasingly competitive with fossil fuels. Technological advancements and increased production have driven these costs down. However, integrating these intermittent sources into the grid and ensuring reliability requires additional investments in smart grids, energy storage, and transmission upgrades. These upgrades are crucial for maintaining a stable and reliable energy supply. The good news is that the green premium is expected to shrink over time as technologies mature and economies of scale kick in. As more renewable energy projects are developed, the costs will continue to decrease. In the meantime, we must find ways to manage these costs while accelerating the transition to a cleaner energy future. This includes innovative financing solutions, supportive government policies, and community engagement to ensure a smooth and equitable transition.